This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, Loco sports fans, welcome to another edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown. My computer's still on the struggle bus, so please give us a break if we have any little blips in the action tonight. But we're here to talk local sports here in the South Carolina Low Country. I'm Justin Jarrett, joined as always by Wes Kerr. And Wes, I love your Christmas tree in the background. It makes me happy. I just got back from wrestling, middle school wrestling night tonight. McCracken goes 2-0, took down Ladies Island, and then a great match against River Ridge. Had to win the last two. The big boys had to come through at the end to get us the dub, 43-36. But it was a great battle. So lots of wrestling talent coming through the middle schools right now. I'm getting to see it firsthand, and that's exciting for our high school teams because we certainly have some strong teams, but they're always looking to reinforce, and it's great to see the pipeline full, thanks to folks like Reverence and Estrada and his group on the island, and just all the people who've banded together to bring it together. And on that note, we are looking to launch a dedicated wrestling podcast. Put out some information on sponsorships for that. Hoping to get that going next week on Wednesday nights to complement everything else we're doing and shine a light a little bit more on the wrestlers. But we're going to talk lots of wrestling tonight, as well as some hoops. We got Reese Stewart coming by. He hit the game winner for Hilton Head the other night that you told us about on Tuesday night on the Hoops Report. So that'll be fun. But how you doing over there, buddy? You doing all right?
I'm doing fantastic. And that was a heck of a matchup last night on the boys' side. Girls' game is great too, but just one of the best basketball games I've seen here in the Loco. Two evenly matched groups. I mean, just fighting neck and neck until the finish. And man, Reese Stewart displaying some kind of superb basketball with that game-winning three, but he was like doing everything all game, and he was making impacts defensively. He was, of course, lighting up on the scoreboard. Some unselfish play as well. So really showing all that he could do out there on the court, and a lot of other Hilton stars that impressed me in that one. And obviously Hampton was without Kayvon Chisholm because of North-South football. So that's something else we'll keep an eye on this weekend. We've got a couple high school football standouts heading over to Myrtle Beach to lace them up one more time. So that's always exciting to see those top guys here in the Loco get to play one last game.
Yeah, no question. And we actually were trying to get some of those guys on tonight. We were going to get KJ Chisholm on, but they have activities happening up there in the evening, so he was unavailable to join us. But we do plan to have Coach Rob Hanna as well as Kayvon Chisholm and Zion Dobson on Monday night to kind of put a bow on their terrific season. And of course, Kayvon and Zion playing in the North-South. They were both named 2A Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year. Hannah was the 2A for the Lower State, and Hannah was the Coach of the Year for the Lower State. So we'll properly acknowledge all those awards and honors on Monday when we talk with them and put a bow on that terrific season for Hampton County. But certainly they've turned the page to basketball, and as you mentioned, Hilton Head and Bluffton both have now pulled off tough wins against them, which, I mean, 4A schools playing against 2A, you would expect a quality 2A and a middle of the road 4A to be pretty competitive. So that kind of checks out, but it definitely makes things interesting when you look at that comparison. They look pretty even as far as Hilton Head and Bluffton go. And then I think Colleton is kind of in that mix too. And May River probably right in that kind of frame too, as far as the guys go. So, and then you throw in James Island and Lucy Beckham, it's going to be some terrific matchups. I think Battery Creek Buford boys are going to be more competitive than that game has been for a while. So, and then Ridgeland boys are scrappy as well. I think we're going to have some great rivalry matchups across the board. 1A, you got Whale Branch and Bridges Prep. Who go at it a couple.
Yeah, see a bunch of
just terrific
Christian on the Skis side as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. JP2, both those teams are playing well right now. So it's going to be really fun as we get through this holiday season and into region play. But before then, we'll have some tournament play and some more of these, intersectional matchups, so to speak, that give us a little more perspective. But did want to talk some wrestling because I got out to May River last night and saw the Sharks up close. And, Ashley Powell was on here last week and he told us rightly that they're young. They're, they graduated a lot of talent. They're not what they have been, but and he told me after their first outing that they got to get better to be able to, really be competitive in Class 4A. But I think they're already getting better, and I think they're going to keep getting better because they've got some really good young talent coming up through the ranks who knows what they're doing. And one kid that really impressed me was Houston Rudisil, who's just a freshman, but Houston is clearly a guy who's been wrestling for a while. When you watch him, the technique and skill is above what the typical beginning wrestler would have. So you can tell that he's been putting in the work. And we take a look at him here. He's just very physical, just a freshman, like I said, but he wrestles with confidence and physicality. So he's one guy. Marcus Folk is a guy we have mentioned before who, came on last year and started to improve toward the end of the year. And he impressed me last night, as well as, some of the guys that lost their matches. Bo Gwynn lost a really tough match to Leroy Tyus, 2-1, gave up a reversal right at the end. Look at that. That's a really nice shot. So takes him straight to his back. And then Bo Gwynn lost that tough match to Tyus. And then Walter Briones went the distance with Elmer Linares, and it was really a battle. So those were a couple guys who impressed me that we maybe weren't thinking about as much.
Yeah, obviously a lot of it's a little bit of a change of the guard for May River when you talk about all those seniors that these last 2 years have really set the foundation for a program that has done some big things in South Carolina High School League 4A. I mean, a couple of trips to the state championship over the years. So now it's going to be up to this new wave of wrestlers who have certainly seen what's possible if you deliver that work ethic that we witnessed. And good to see this next crop of guys showing what they've got earlier in the season. And May River's coach Ashley Powell and that team, they do a good job of really testing themselves early, getting the waters against some quality teams. Of course, we're going to have this prestigious River Shark Invitational in a couple weeks during the holidays, which is really, really great for them, but also fun for us to see all these quality teams coming here to the Lowco. So I'm pumped for that, and it gives an opportunity for May River to kind of see where they're at and build on what they've done already. So it's a great program. It's run tight ship, and Powell and his coaching staff do a great job. But as you said at the top, the pipeline is really continuing to grow, and Reverend's Wrestling and all those groups are doing their part in getting these young men and women ready to compete in high school wrestling. So we are in a great state in terms of the high school level. Every year since I've been covering it with you, it's improved on a yearly basis, which is awesome. And you're a big part of that because obviously your coverage, but also what you do with your son, who's put on a good performance himself.
Yeah, he's back in it now. He wrestled for a couple years before COVID when we started the Low Country Wrestling Club for a couple years there, and then got away from it during COVID and was kind of apprehensive about going back to it. But we both agreed that middle school would be kind of an easy reentry for him, and he's been blessed. Coach Gearhart just shouted us out on the podcast here, saying wrestling. That's the coach at May River or McCracken, the new coach there, and he's doing a terrific job. I've just started helping him out a little bit and looking forward to getting in the room with him. But young guy from Michigan, a Marine, and has a good background in the sport. And he's definitely doing a terrific job of just, introducing the kids to the sport and making it accessible to them. And they're doing a terrific job of buying in and learning. And, it's not an easy sport to pick up when you don't have a socialization into it. You haven't been around it. It's a tough thing, especially when you go up against kids who have been doing it for a while. Creek with the win tonight, 59-18 over Stahl. Nice. Good stuff there. But no, he's doing a really good job of introducing the kids to the sport, pumping them up, and I think I'm meeting that energy as far as we understand, like, not everybody's going to be good at this right now, but if you keep working at it, you've got a chance to really become something in this sport. And the kids are seeing the progress immediately. It's neat when you get to go up against a kid who's beat you before, and then you have a chance to compete closer with them or beat them and see that progress in real time. And some of our kids got that opportunity tonight. Truman won a tough match 4-0 the other night against the kid from River Ridge, and he pinned him tonight in the first period. So that's the kind of, growth and improvement that we want to see over the
Yeah.
I like that. We always have a bunch sign up, and after the first practice it cuts in half. That sounds about right for wrestling. It's not for the weak-hearted at all. You get beat up, you get ground into the mat, and it'll either make you stronger or make you quit, and that's the thing that I love about the sport. But
it's a constant grind,
so
and it gives you that, it's just you against somebody else. So I mean, it really makes you try that extra harder, from each match to get to the level you want to be. It's a it's kind of those individual sports. Really, you don't have that teammate beside you. You have to work within yourself, and that's something that just takes that mental fortitude and just that special gear that you have inside of you that the best wrestlers seem to have throughout the Lowco and beyond. So it's really a unique sport in that sense, but you have your teammates beside you to pump you up from the bench, which is always cool, especially when they get close near the end, when it's like a deciding match, and then it really gets intense over there. But it's a terrific sport. I mean, tremendous cross training, as we've mentioned so many times, but also just a great. It teaches so much to young men and women, even if it's not something that you pursue in the future. I wish I could have done a little bit of it, just of what it does to your body, just to you physically, to you mentally. And I just hope it continues to be another opportunity, a different opportunity with basketball to learn different things and to experience those different kinds of situations. So it's a great sport, and I'm looking forward to covering more of it this year and starting a new podcast about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that prospect. Certainly, we need to get some sponsorship support to make that a reality, but I feel pretty confident that will happen because there's a growing wrestling community here that is, starving for more information and more coverage, and we're happy to provide it. We just need to make it worth, to allow us to spend our time on that. We just need the sponsorship support, but we've put it in some people's court, and I feel confident that they will help us make it happen so that we can provide even better high school wrestling coverage throughout this season, because we do have some really competitive teams. May River, as I mentioned, beat Beach 84-0. Battery Creek beat Beach 82-6. Now, Beach is a program in Savannah that is just trying to field a team. That's not, it was an opportunity for them to get some mat time last night, and so those were not competitive matchups, but great opportunities for individual wrestlers to get some work in. And then May River beat Battery Creek 60-17. John Paul II beat Colleton County 48-30. Couple big pins for Daniel Snyder and Brian Orda. And Hilton Head High beat Bridges Prep 40-31. So really nice showing from Bridges there. Yeah, Bridges gave them heck.
Bucks are impressive. They are impressive. Boys basketball off to a nice start.
Yeah,
girls are grinding. That's a solid 1A school. I was impressed with what I saw with that volleyball team, what they did, but it sets a tone for what this athletic squad can accomplish, and good stuff there from wrestling as well. But it's really cool to see Coach Newton back there on the sidelines for the Seahawks as well. So it's gonna be fun, really, once we get into 7-4A, because it's so close. This is the tightest it's been between the May River, Bluff, Hilton, but then also like Lucy Beck and James Island. It's very, very even this year.
Yeah, it is. And another couple people that I'd like to shout out is George Dixon and his son Ty. George was the coach at Hilton Head High a number of years ago and has been a ref for a long time now, and really leaned into it. He's one of the better refs in the entire Southeast. He gets called in to do big college tournaments in the region, and he knows the rule book ice cold. And so I just love going to a match and seeing George or his son Ty show up, because I know that we're going to get quality officiating. And that's a difficult thing in this sport, in this state. There are not a lot of quality wrestling officials in this state. And so for us in this area to have that benefit of having a quality official who's not only calling it right, but also communicating to the wrestlers throughout the match. And tonight with the middle school kids, we did our weigh-ins. It was the first time we've done this. He took us back there. He went through everything with the kids, explained to them what this looks like from this level all the way up. This is the expectation. So the next time you know what it looks like, and they're understanding about the skin checks and the nail checks and all that stuff. And so I say all that to say that, we get on officials a lot of the time, but the most important job to me that officials have is they are there to help us teach the kids how to play the game the right way.
Right.
And I think George in particular, and Ty, by watching him do it for so many years, is the best in the business when it comes to that. He makes sure that those wrestlers have an understanding of the expectations, and he communicates clearly to them when something doesn't meet the expectations or they break a rule or something. It is always explained to them so that they understand it going forward. And I just want to show appreciation for all officials who approach it that way, because it really is a difference maker for the kids when they can be learning from the officials as well as their coaches.
Yeah, I mean, across sports, that's something that, high school officials need, those qualities that they need to have. You have to, be respectful. You have to teach them the rules, and it's a growing experience. I mean, you have to have officials that enforce the game fairly, but at the same time, it's important for these kids to learn from their mistakes, no matter the sport. And we see that across the board. And I think wrestling is with everything that goes into being official and all the intricacies that it involves, it makes good and just a fair and respectful officiating even the more important. So great to see those guys doing their job well over there on the mat.
There's George right there calling this really good match between Leroy Tyus and Bo Gwynn. Bo was up 1-0 for most of the match. He's going to get an escape here after they were scoreless in the first period. It's one of the better matches of the night. Wasn't, neither one of them wrestled especially sharply. It was a defensive battle, but it was a really good one. So that made it 1-0. And then Leroy takes bottom in the third period, and he had to fight for a long, long time to get out of there. But right at the end, he's going to score a reversal and pull off the win. It was a tough match. Bunch of guys got pins for May River, a whole bunch. I mentioned a few of them, but they started at 285, and then they flipped it over, and May River ran through the early weights. So Tyus gets a win here to put him up 3-0. Here we go. He's about to get the reversal.
And for those who are unaware,
for most of that third period.
For those who are unaware, because there's certainly a lot of newer wrestling fans, how does the choosing of the weight class kind of who is in charge of choosing who wrestles first, who wrestles second, and so on?
Sure. So you flip a coin at the start of the match, and the team that wins it gets to pick odd or even. Coach has usually told them which one he wants going out there, because he knows where the matchups are that he wants to try to avoid or create. So he usually has a plan, odd or even, going in, and then you make your selection. If you win, then you get your choice. So every other match, the opposite team has to send their wrestler first. They do draw which weight to start at for the night. And then if there's more than one duel that night, then the first duel will be from that weight, and each subsequent one will be started from the next weight up. Middle school, we start at 80 every time. Start at the bottom every time. So the big fellas get the last word every time. But I think that's okay for Truman, because he's 88. He likes going first. He likes, and we don't have an 80, so he gets to go first. Get it out of the way. You don't have to wait around.
Right.
He likes that, and he got it done quickly tonight, so that definitely helps. But that's a good question, though, and it is an important part of strategy in a close matchup, because especially with really quality teams, they'll have more than one guy weighed in at a lot of weight classes, and if they see an advantageous matchup at the next weight up where they can bump their stronger guy up and win both of those weights, they'll try to make a move like that, or they may try to avoid a certain person that they know their hammer can't beat. So you get some little chess match stuff going on there at times, and sometimes I think coaches can overthink that and get themselves in a pickle, but trying to steal one that they maybe can't win. But that's part of what makes it fun, and we definitely we lost one I didn't think we were going to lose tonight, and it put us in a tough spot. But a couple kids were able to step up and pull it out at the end. So you never know how it's going to shake out. You can be winning that match. We had one tonight. We were winning all the way or losing all the way, and then we got the pin at the end and pulled it off, and that swung the match. So you never quit till the final whistle. It's not over.
Yeah, that's what makes it so exciting over there. On the map, because it's a game kind of like basketball. It's a momentum-driven game, a momentum-driven match, and if you get one in your favor and it fires up that whole bench, it can turn on a dime. So, that's what makes it so interesting, fun to cover.
There's such a cumulative effect too, because the third period, if you're better conditioned than your opponent in the third period, you can do some damage, even if you're in a big hole.
You can get that big pin.
Get that pin, and then nothing else matters. So if you can wear them down, it's a war of attrition out there, to say the least. But let's shout out some sponsors, and then we'll shift gears and talk a little hoops. Starting with the MVP sponsors of LowcoSports, beginning with my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports. She's with Keller Williams of the Lowcountry, and she would love to help you find your place in the Loco, whether it's a starter home or a forever home. The rates are coming down. It's a great time to buy out there, and it is a great real estate market to invest in here in the Loco. So call on Megan Jarrett, my wife, and the official realtor of LowcoSports. And when we find that perfect home, we'll call on Homegrown Home Inspections. Jan Lucas and his team bring an incredible level of expertise and customer service to every home inspection. So they are going to check that thing out from top to bottom, make sure you're making a good investment, and be your eyes and ears and biggest advocate right up until move-in day, when we'll call on Mickelson Law Firm to sign the papers with the official real estate closing attorneys of LowcoSports and our original sponsors since 2017. Call on Ryan and Tiffany and their team for all your legal needs at Mickelson Law Firm. And finally, Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, the official non-for-profit hospice of LowcoSports, and the only not-for-profit hospice in Southern Beaufort County. Their CEO, James Disman, is a great friend, a great leader, and building a tremendous team and Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, where it's not about dying, it's about living. Those are our MVP sponsors, Wes. And now we'll shift gears and talk some hoops. Kind of a quiet night for hoops last night. We did the hoops report on Tuesday and talked about a lot, but last night, not much. Ashley Ridge swept Colleton County. Boys game was pretty competitive. Bridges Prep blew out Palmetto Scholars 84-47. They're 7-1. And John Paul II with a sweep of Andrew Jackson. Brady Mahoney 15-13 for the girls. She continues to light it up. And a bunch of guys contributed for the boys. But James Kiefer hit a couple threes late to help them seal it.
That girls team has really impressed me. Casey Graves, Lily Termini putting in some work. Gracie Anderson, even on those top three names. So they've got a nice deep starting five and a couple of nice role players as well on this JP2 girls squad. So watch out. This is a very nice start for the Golden Warriors. Karen Floyd doing an excellent job early on with that team. So looking forward to see how they do. A couple against some stronger competition going forward, but so far so solid for JP2, picking up another dominant 20-plus point win. But the Bridges Prep taking care of business over Palmetto Scholars, and then the JP2 boys also with a grinded out victory over that Andrew Jackson Academy squad. So good things going over there from the Golden Warriors. And Bridges Prep, off to a very, very solid start, and a year where I expected them to be, right now in the top 10, I believe, in the Class 1A ranking. So they're looking the part so far in the first few weeks.
Yeah, they are number 10 in the most recent SCBCA rankings. I'm trying to pull those up. I know that Whale Branch is up to number 2 in 2A, which was impressive, or in 1A. And then Hampton was 3 in 2A, correct? So,
yeah. Or was it 3? Hampton 3 in 2A.
3 in 2A. Is that what I said?
3 in 2A, yeah. I think it's down. You said 2 and 3 or 3 and 2A. Either way, yeah. So they're behind.
Wild Branch is 2 in 1A, and Hampton is 3 in 2A, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my email won't load the rankings right now, so I can't tell you for sure. Bluffton girls were up to 5. Is that right? Am I remembering that right?
I believe so. Yeah. He's close to that.
I'll try to find them here, but my email is not letting me search right now. I don't know if the the gremlins are still out or what, but it's struggling at the moment. But who's kind of been your surprise basketball teams so far? Anybody who stood out that you were like, whoa, didn't expect that?
Yeah, well, I think, Bluffton, that win over Hampton County, I thought to begin the season was pretty surprising. I liked what they were doing with that new head coach, but certainly that's a good start for the Bobcats. But I'm Hilton Head High with a nice win, a couple of nice wins. I didn't expect them to beat those last two teams, Richmond Hill and then Hampton County. So the Seahawks looking solid early, and I mean, Whale Branch, I expected to be up there when they got Jeremiah Faber. That's not too surprising. JP2 off to a pretty good start. So, it's still very early in the season, but you kind of get a sense where, who's going to be, someone that we might keep our eye on as we get into region play. I think we'll learn a lot more, as we get into these holiday tournaments and kind of see how these squads do against some stiff competition. JP2 girls, of course, are off to a very solid start. Hampton County girls with a very underrated road win at Hilton Head High. That's a team that can make some noise in that region. Lyric Jones obviously leading the way, but they've got a couple of other young ladies who put in some good minutes. Hilton Head Prep girls, that's a team that they have had Courtney Campbell for a while, but they haven't been able to put it together in these last few years. But this might be different. They're starting to pick up some wins early on. Courtney's been the catalyst, but we're seeing some other girls really fit in as supporting pieces in that mold. So I'm keeping my eye on the Dolphins for what they can do. It's starting to be very interesting in between. I think Hilton Head Christian Academy is still the favorite by a solid margin among those three schools, but I think both those other two teams could make it. I mean,
I think it's closer with JP2. Yeah. I think JP2 might be fairly close.
Yeah.
Fairly close. It's hard saying. I mean, the thing is, like, as long as the big three for Hilton Head Christian are on the floor, they're going to be pretty tough. But if you can get anybody in foul trouble at all, then you might have a shot. Because JP2's got superior depth, I think. Top three are as good as it gets, but after that, it's you got a shot to create some matchups. So if you can get somebody in foul trouble, you got a shot for sure. HHCA took it on the chin at Bradwell, so they're not the same. They're not the juggernaut they have been. They're still good. They're still very good. They might not lose many games this year, but it's closer than it's been. No question. I would say, who else has surprised me? I don't know. I think you kind of got them for the most part. I think you named them. I think Buford boys are better than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
I got to give some love there. I think Huff and Jeremy Jones are doing a really good job of coaching that team up. Naeem Pope is putting up big numbers. They've got a bunch of guys just buying in, playing roles. I think they're better than I expected. Which means I think they're still better than Battery Creek, but it's closer than it's been in a minute. So I think that's a surprise. Hilton Head High boys have been a pleasant surprise so far. And I think that might continue.
River girls,
I like the way they're
they
playing.
beat Buford by 20, although Buford's girls are Beaver girls.
River girls, River girls are pretty down.
Richland.
They're pretty down.
Yeah,
May River's not.
Buford. Yeah, and Buford's girls. I mean, that's not much of a quality win. You could say.
No,
Buford's
not
girls,
right now.
That's
they're struggling a little bit.
They've had a couple good years in the past, but it's not looking great for either of those two squads. Though it's early, and these. These players can prove us wrong for sure. So I'm, excited to see what happens with those two teams. But, looking elsewhere, Hilton Head Prep certainly off to a nice start. We knew Hilton Christian Academy would be good. Beaver Academy won. Well, they haven't really played much, but they did get a solid win over Bridges Prep. And then, what do you think about cross so far? Cross schools. The girls have had a nice.
Cross girls are
Mhm.
legit. They're
Yeah.
good. They're going to beat a lot of people in skis of 1A, and they'll get better and better as the year goes on. Cross boys are young, and they're playing a style that is why they're getting up and down. Doc will get the most out of them, though. I promise you that. They're not as talented as the girls, but they're going to compete, and they've already won a couple games, so that's good to see. But we do have a friend in the green room here, the star of one of those teams that has surprised us so far. Reese Stewart joins us on the Lowdown. What's going on, Reese?
Hello.
Big time shot the other night, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That one had to feel good. Tell me about that last play, and you find yourself open in the corner, and you're hoping they can get the ball to you, and you find it coming your way, and you're setting up for that shot. What's going through your head?
Coach Brown, we called a timeout. A lot of the stuff we were doing wasn't working because they were full court pressing the whole time, and we decided to run the play. Jack Rohr brought the ball down. They got it to him. He kicked it to the corner, and I had to shoot it.
The night to 28 points in total, and of course it was fitting that you got the last one, the game-winning three. What an electric atmosphere! One of the greatest finishes I've seen at the high school level to end a game. So congratulations there. But two big home wins that going back to Saturday. And then what you guys did on Tuesday, just tell me how the vibes are feeling after a couple of impressive home victories where you guys had to come from behind to get those wins.
Yeah, last year we didn't get the outcome we were looking for, but this year we're excited. We have a new team. We have a lot of new guys that have got brought up, and we're just really excited. It was a good start. And every time we've been down, we've always stayed positive and just fought through and got the win.
Yeah, it's been terrific to watch so far because, I think that based on last year's results and kind of what you had coming back, I don't think a lot of people were paying a whole lot of attention to you guys, but you've definitely got their attention now. So talk a little bit about some of your teammates who have stepped up and helped you guys be as successful as you have early on here.
Yeah, for sure. Kyrie's Bowman, really good,
Yep.
really fast, strong. In the game against Hampton, he got hurt early, his Achilles. But yeah, he's a strong player. He can get through traffic really easily.
That's a sick finish by Denzel right there. That was sick.
Luke, he's improved a lot since last year. I'm really happy about that. He's really added a lot to the team, especially being our center this year. We're not really a tall team. I mean, we have Lucky Johnson, but Luke's really stepped up and took the challenge.
Yeah, he's a little undersized, but man, he can slash to the bucket.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and
here we go.
That was a crazy finish last night. There it is.
That was a quick trigger, bro. You got rid of that thing in a hurry.
Yeah.
He was closing out. You had to. That was catch and shoot. There was not any time to set your feet. You had to get rid of that thing.
Yeah.
Reese, we saw you last year, and certainly you had the makings of a guy who's going to do big things here and fill a big role for the Seahawks team. And just tell me about what you learned last season and how you've improved on all aspects of your game leading up to this year.
Yeah, last year was my first year at Hilton Head. I moved here from Indiana, South Bend, and I met the team. I didn't really know what my role was going to be, but I eventually found out. And really shooting in the game, I got more comfortable as last season continued to go on. But on the off season AAU, I really focused on ball handling and driving to the rim because I noticed that I needed to do that a lot more, get to the free throw line because I got a lot of points last year off that. But yeah, I focused a lot on that.
So you're an Indiana guy. That makes sense. Indiana loves its basketball. That was your Jimmy Chitwood moment, putting up the game-winning three. But so talk to me a little bit about that, moving here from Indiana and, what was that like? Was there an adjustment as far as kind of the style of play in the area, or was that pretty seamless? Like, I guess just what was the process like for you making that transition?
Yeah, for sure. So Indiana, I originally played on like the freshman team because we had freshman, JV, and varsity. as a freshman, and I moved up to JV. And I mean, it's really fast paced. I would compare the two in like the quickness of the game, but Indiana's really more like fundamental
Yeah.
and like a lot more shooting off the dribble,
Yeah.
catch and
A lot
shoot.
more half court sets and
Yeah.
running plays and stuff. There's a
Yeah.
little playground aspect out there at times in
Mhm.
this area, it seems like.
Yeah. And moving down here, I really like that aspect because you can sometimes do your own thing, and if like people realize you have your shot's hot at the moment, you can get the ball and do what you want to do.
What is it like to be coached under Shane Brown? Just a few years ago, led that Seahawk team to a berth in the state championship. Back in 2020-21. So this is a coach that has had tremendous success and experience at this level, and just great expertise in basketball in general, especially on the defensive end. So, what have you learned in terms of just basketball IQ and your fitness and mentality on the court, being coached by Shane?
Yeah, I love Coach Brown. He's never negative. He's not trying to bring anybody down ever. He always stays positive, and he always tells us play strong no matter what your mentality is during the game, especially because you're gonna miss shots. But he's always talking about keep shooting. If you know you're a shooter, if you know you're a driver, keep doing what you're supposed to be doing on the court. And he always tells us to do that, and he's never bringing anybody down. He's just such a positive coach, and he helps all of us improve a lot.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with him as, not only a coach but as a leader, and just the culture that he's built in that program seems to be really positive and focused on the right thing. So definitely back you up on that one. But as you look at the region, we've talked a good bit about how even we think this region is going to be. I mean, James Island has kind of been at the top for a little bit here, but Lucy Beckham right on their heels. It looks like you guys, Bluffton, May River, Colleton are all kind of in the same, tier, so to speak. I think it's going to be super competitive with a bunch of really great matchups every night, don't you?
Yeah, I'm excited for region play. We got a lot of great teams and a lot of great players from last year. Like RJ on James Island, he's really good.
Yeah.
I remember him from last year. Tanner Macy from May River, and then Bluffton has Carnell.
They got Carnell, they got Brandon Bryant, Khalil Chaplin's back. They've got some nice pieces. They're going to be fun to watch. So and a new coach.
I'm excited
you guys both got some incredible, hard-fought, dramatic wins over that Hampton County team. So it feels to me that you guys are neck and neck. So I'm definitely excited for those. Hilton Head Bluffton games, and every game in this region is going to be so much fun for us to cover and for you to play. And so can't wait for that. But you guys have a busy weekend heading towards you. You're going to be at Bradwell Institute tomorrow, and then you're back home against Savannah High. So how do you approach this back-to-back setting as you progress into the weekend?
So for tomorrow's game, our team just continues to watch film. They play full court man-to-man defense the whole game. So practice today, we were going hard. We were focusing on plays. We can try to get around that man-to-man full court defense, and we're going to see how it plays out. And then obviously we're going to focus on Savannah High tomorrow night after that game and watch film on them and just study what they can do.
Yeah, that's a quick turnaround, definitely, to try to get a game plan together. But and a couple tough opponents too. Bradwell's very good. They put it on Hilton Head Christian pretty bad the other night. And then Savannah High always has a really athletic squad that'll get up and down and give you problems too. So 2 really good tests for you guys, but you've passed a couple of really tough tests already. So what's kind of your mentality going into the season as far as the team? What do you feel like you guys have to be really good at to be successful?
Communicating I think is the biggest thing on the court. If you guys aren't communicating, you're not going to know where to be, who to guard. That was a big thing against Hampton. We got confused a lot, and as we started to communicate more, we would get more buckets, we would get stops, rebounds, and it just helped us a lot. And I think communication is such a huge thing on the court.
Amen.
Yeah, that's everything when you're able to, effectively and swiftly communicate to your fellow guys out there in the courts, and to have that elite sense of chemistry out there. That is so important. That separates the championship teams from the rest in many cases. So great to see that you guys are practicing that, and it's showing off well on the court. But Shane Brown has always been a defensive coach. He's preached that strong defense mentality, and you do more than just score the basket. You are showing your active hands, your hustle out there defensively, looking to make some plays on that end. And I thought the defense was really what one of the factors that helped you get back in this game and help you win this game. So describe how you guys defended and made them work. It seemed like every time they got in the paint, you made them work for those buckets.
Yeah. As everybody says, defense wins championships. Coach Brown reminds us that every day at practice. He loves defense. And just like during practice, we would practice other teams' defenses to understand like how they would play. But more importantly, like we would run a bunch of different defenses to try to stop whatever they had coming at us. So that was just a big role that Coach played out for us during practices and preparing for games.
All right, so I got to know, that hitting that game-winning three with the quick trigger does not happen by accident. How many shots you get up a day in the off season?
A day, 500 if I'm going to the rec center.
Yeah,
that's what it takes.
You getting after it in the off season. That's how you get rid of it quick and feel good about it. Right there.
Kids, if you're listening, it takes that level of dedication, and you gotta stick with it, and that very well. So just continue to talk about that sense, just the work ethic in the gyms during the off season. What did you do to help propel yourself to this level, to have that confidence to hit a shot like that to win a game?
Well, people have always told me I've came to be like a shooter, but it's just practicing. Like I'm not born like this. Nobody's born like this. You keep practicing shooting off the dribble, catch and shoot, anything. If you can get like, obviously I have a little brother. He's on JV. He helps me train a lot, just getting my rebounds. And that's how I just get those shots and shots and shots.
And he's going to be a great rebounder because he understands how to read the shot.
Follow your shots. I think you had a basket like that. Thinking a basket like that where you followed your shot, if it was you or someone else, but hit it, missed the three, followed your shot, and then scored in the floater. And to have just that knowledge of where to be after a shot, to track it down, and to finish so calmly, that's an important skill to have, just to not give up on a play.
Yeah.
Well, and when it's off as a shooter, right? You know immediately it's off and which way it's off, so you can go get yourself in position to try to make something happen. So, I love it, man. I like to watch you play, and I enjoyed talking with you tonight. So, congrats on the hot start, the big game-winning shot, and keep up the good work, man. We look forward to seeing what else you can do this season.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot, Reese. Go Seahawks.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thanks, man. Reese Stewart, terrific stuff as always. When we get our student athletes on here, they're with it, man. They got it on lockdown. They got a lot going on. They got a lot of tests and all that this time of year, but they're still able to maintain the focus and go out there and perform at a high level, representing their team and their community and their school. And it's just an awesome thing. It truly is, and it really builds outstanding, young people who become valued contributors to society. So shout out to all the coaches and athletes out there doing it the right way.
It starts with the parents and the coaches who really help build that sense. But at the end of the day, the kids got to have it or not. And it all comes down to, as a baseball coach, you can tell them all they want, but at the end of the day, it's the kid's decision. You have a choice if you want to succeed or if you don't. And it comes down to how bad you want it. And certainly Reese and so many of other kids that we cover want it bad enough that they're going to put in the extra work to be better than the other guy, and Reese has certainly proved that so far.
Yeah, no doubt. He's off to a terrific start, putting up 28, you said the other night? Man,
Yeah, 28, yep.
That's a good night's work in high school ball. That doesn't
Yeah.
happen a whole lot. Remember, that was a 61-58
And
game.
that's
It
a good
wasn't
Hampton
a
County
high
team
scoring
too.
game.
That's a Hampton
Real
County
good.
group that will play tough defense. They've got some size, physicality. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he made it look
No,
effortless sometimes. The way he can take it to the rack, and then just that consistent shot, which has really grown a lot for me. I saw him all of last year. He just feels a lot more confident now with his shooting, and just his instincts on offense. He's making the right reads, making the right pass, and then if he sees the lane, he's taking to the rim or going to the line. So that kid really knows what he's doing now in his junior season, and that's everything to have that confidence if you're the go-to guy for your team's offense. But they've got some other pieces too, as they mentioned, and I think John O'Gorman was someone who I don't think we mentioned, who's been a nice contributing piece as well. But Luke Danzel, I mean, Mr. Clutch so far, alongside our man Reese, because I thought he had the end one, which I thought would have. Well, he missed the free throw, but he got an opportunity to get one more at the line on a few feeds. So, they're passing really well. They're spotting the open teammates, and they're finishing at the rim, and that's something you can't take for granted at this level. So, really a solid executing team that as you mentioned, chemistry. It's really building for this group. So, I think they're gonna be a factor in this region, along with Bluffton. Along potentially with a Colleton County team that they've got the experience and the veteran guys to make it interesting too. So it's going to be fun. Once we get to next month, but this is fun too because we got a bunch of tournaments, in these next few weeks before the holidays and during the holidays. So
they've got a brutal run. I mean, they've already played Brunswick, Richmond Hill, Hampton. They got Bradwell, Savannah. They got at Hampton, at Brunswick, at Richmond Hill. Then home and home with Benedictine on back-to-back days. And then Hilton Head Christian Academy and Carver's Bay. Like, they are getting after it in the non-conference. So, they might take some lumps here early, but they're going to be a quality team when they get to region play. I do believe that they're going to be a real problem in region play because, like you said, fundamentally sound defense travels always. And Stewart, now that I know he's from Indiana, that makes so much more sense. He's an Indiana player. Like, that makes so much sense now that I know that. Should have known that he was a Midwest guy, but certainly I think they're going to be fun. And I think there's going to be some good matchups coming up on Friday as we look ahead. We got Battery Creek at Ridgeland Hardyville in a rematch of that one. Buford Academy at Cross, I think, is really interesting. The girls' game could be fun. Buford at Whale Branch rematch. Both those games were really competitive the first time around. Bluffton and Military Magnet girls will be really good. Hilton Head High going to Bradwell. Cardinal Newman at Hilton Head Christian is a great matchup. Is that where you're headed? Excuse me. Hilton Head Prep at Northwood. St. Joe's at JP2 is also interesting, and Patrick Henry at Dorchester. So I'm not sure where I'm going yet. Maybe Beaufort Whale Branch. I haven't seen either of them yet. But I was thinking about Beaufort May River on Saturday. So I don't know. I got to figure it out. But lots of options. So I'll find out where other people are going. That's usually what I do. I go where nobody else is. That's usually what I do. So we'll get it worked out. But let's shout out some more sponsors. We got our varsity sponsors who need some love. DDS Web Design is your source for building, hosting, and maintaining websites for small businesses and organizations that get results. And they can do it, man. They can build you up a website, get all that SEO stuff built in so that you get found online through organic search on the Googles and such, so that you can do more business and take it to the next level. DDS Web Design, DDSHHI.com. And then the Parker Law Group, they've been serving folks with their legal needs across Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties for years. And they jumped on board with us this year to support us and allow us to continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Low Country. And speaking of which, Wes, you wanna shout out some players of the week?
Yeah,
got some players of the week.
I'm gonna. I mean, the guy that go with the guy hit the game-winning three, don't I? Reese Stewart. I mean, certainly a lot of other guys deserving, but when you put up 28, and you hit a game-winning shot at the buzzer, you got to go with my man. So yeah, what an evening for Reese Stewart. A heck of a 2-game stretch, beating 2 quality teams in a row at home, coming from behind, and that's everything you want to see, and who has become the go-to offensive playmaker on this Hilton High squad. So Reese Stewart, who really showed a lot of potential last year, coming in from Indiana, putting it all together so far early for the Seahawks, and if he continued to hit those shots at that clip and play that tough, hard defense to complement, he's going to lead the Seahawks to a couple of big region wins. So excited for that Hilton Head High team. I think this might be the best Hilton Head High squad we've seen since that state championship one, in my opinion. But we'll see.
Yeah,
see what happens.
So.
Yeah, but and then on the girls' side, gonna go Brady Mahoney, who continues to absolutely stuff the stat sheet. Put up a double-double to start the week, 21 points, 15 boards, alongside 5 assists and 3 blocks on top of that against Palmetto Christian. And she kept it going later on in a very busy week. 15 points, 13 rebounds, so another a double-double for her. And she has been the leader of a JP2 team that is high-flying to start the year. Such a gritty, athletic player who can track down boards, can score inside, can hit some jumpers. And she's done a great job of leading this JP2 team that I think is going to make it tough for some of these Lowco squads this year, for some of the better ones as well. So Brady Mahoney doing some extraordinary work for that JP2 team, and she's got some good support behind her with some young women like Lily Termini and then Gracie Henderson, who I think was my pick last week. So I'm shouting out a lot of JP2 girls, but rightfully so. They've certainly deserved it from their hot start.
Yeah, they've been earning it lately for sure. Oh man, I don't have stats from the last Hilton Head Prep girls game. I was going to shout out somebody over there, but don't have stats in front of me. But Courtney Campbell, she's been crazy good. She had 30 a couple of games ago. She's just putting up stupid numbers. So I'll give her love, but I'll make my official girls player of the week, Lyric Jones, because on her birthday, she had 14 to beat Hilton Head High. And she's just such a sweet kid. Every time I see her, she comes over and talks to me, and we have a great chat, and just really impressed with her as a young lady as well as a basketball player. I think she's going to be a star. And 14 points against Hilton Head and a big road win. So I'll give her love. I'll also give some honorable mention to Lillian Lucas from Patrick Henry, 23 points and 11 boards against Andrew Jackson. That's a solid night. But for the guys, I'm going to go to the wrestling mat, and I'm going to go Battery Creek's Gunnar DeGroat. He went 2-0 last night, 2 pins, 2 pretty quick pins. He's to the point now where most matches he goes and works on some stuff until he feels satisfied, and then he pins them at will. And that's an impressive thing to watch when you see a guy who's on that level. He hasn't lost since last December to Santiago Rueda. Won the state championship last year, just got his ring the other night at the basketball game. So very cool. Saw a photo of that. And I think whether he stays at 190 or goes down to 175, I think he's, likely to win another one. He's that kind of guy. So just an elite talent who kind of gets lost in the mix a little bit because of the sport he plays and the fact that, they kind of toil in anonymity. So shout out to Gunnar DeGroat for my player of the week on the wrestling mat, as well as
he's been there a while, and it's fun to see him grow alongside that Battery Creek team. That's a sleeper group that I think can do some damage in that region. So you look at them, you look at Beaufort and Philip Simmons and Hanahan team that could be solid squads as well. So that's going to be we talked about something before, but that 8-3 is also going to be a very tough region when it comes to wrestling. But to have that experience with a guy you can count on to win a match, win a swing match like DeGroat, who has that capabilities going up against one of the other best guys on the other team and picking a pin like that. So you want to have that strong guy at the top you can turn to, but you got to have some other players as well. And I think that Battery Creek has some more they can trust. So a great pick there from DeGroat. He's off to an excellent start, and so is a couple of our wrestling teams here to start the year. So hoping to get into some of the gyms soon and watch it go down, because it's, like I said, every year it gets better and better.
The depth is what really gets tremendously better. Like the kids at the top are better,
right?
But there were always pretty good kids at the top. The elite kids were always pretty good. But there's more of them now, and there's so many more kids who are in that next tier that are good but not yet great, and have a chance to become great. And that's where the big difference has really been noticeable. The numbers in the middle schools are terrific right now. I think River Ridge has 17. I think we have 17 or 18 at McCracken. They only had 7 or 8 for Ladies Island, but there's a number of schools that have Bluffton Middle had a big squad as well. So it's really good to see. And then I know Mike Newton said they have 30 on the Hilton Head Middle School roster.
Terrific.
So Hilton Head may be down this year, but you wait in a couple of years, Mike Newton will have that program. They will be a problem again statewide very soon, because he knows how to train the young kids especially and get them up to speed in a hurry. So no, it's an exciting time for all sports in the Lowco, really. I mean, it's a rising tide out there. We're getting more and more knowledgeable and talented coaches working with kids in all sports and bringing them up to a certain level. And then we're getting more and more elite type coaches in each sport in this area who can take them to another level. And that's what it takes. So again, shout out to all the coaches and all the kids out there doing it the right way, buying in and just putting your head down and working every day, because it ain't where you start. It's where you finish, and you got a long path ahead of you and a great opportunity to lean into it and improve, and maybe create an opportunity for yourself. But if nothing else, just make yourself a more well-rounded person who understands, the spirit of competition and the value of hard work and all those things, those life lessons that come out of youth sports. So, but what are you looking forward to the rest of this week, Wes? Where are you headed? You said you're going to that Hilton Christian
I am
Newman game.
Hilton Christian Academy. They're facing off against Cardinal Newman, so that's a solid skis team that's going to provide a good test there for the Eagle SWAT home I've yet to see this year. So looking forward to seeing that both those teams for the first time. Certainly the guys with a lot of expectations after just falling short in that state championship. You bring back Isaiah White, and then of course Harry Skinner, who was sensational last year, who's still pretty young, and man, he was lighting the gym on fire at several occasions. So looking forward to seeing him again, and some of those supporting pieces who hopefully will also take that next step along with their top players. So lots to like there for Hilton Christian Academy under a new head coach. So that's going to be adds another wrinkle to things over there. And then that girls team, certainly have taken some lumps early on, but still an outstanding core there with Devin Yard and of course Tamaya Hutchinson back for her senior year. So that's it's cool because Devin's been there so long, and to see the culmination of her finishing off her career, starting at the old barn back in Hilton Island. And now we're heading to year 4 of this, or year 3.
There was the season at Island Rec.
Right. That was a freshman year because they started at the old gym, then they moved to Island Rec, and then so this is her third season at the new place, so the cage as they call it. So it's been good times over there. See if they can keep it going, and try for a. Is that 4 or 5? I'm trying to. They've won.
They got 5 in a row, right?
Yeah, 5 in a row. Yeah, it's right. 5 in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, they've won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
We got to go way back to a year when Hilton Christian girls didn't win it. It's been some time ago. Some of y'all weren't born yet.
Yep. And then USCB gets back at this week as well.
Yeah, Saturday. Me and Rich Basirko on the call against Regent University. So, I'm excited to get back in there. They're calling it the Cove now, Sharks Cove.
Nice.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it. I think the kids came up with it, but I love it. So anyway, that should about do it for tonight, Wes. I think we did enough damage for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night with the Loco Hoops Report, and then Sunday night we'll have Sand Shark Rewind, and then we'll run it all back again next week. Lowdown Monday and Thursday, Hoops Report Tuesday and Friday, and we're hoping to get that Loco Wrestling Report off the ground on Wednesday night as well, because we do have a busy slate Wednesday night wrestling. We got May River Creek and Jenkins at New Hampstead. We got Hilton Head, Colleton, and Whale Branch at Beaufort. And we got John Paul II and Bamberg at Bridges. So it's going to be a whole bunch of good matches happening next Wednesday night. So we'll have to get on here, get some reports from around the Loco on the Loco Wrestling Report. We need sponsorship for all these shows. So hit me up at LowcoSports at gmail.com, LOWCO sports at gmail.com if you want to get in. And let's shout out the Loco Booster Club before we go. We have the Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court, Low Country natives selling the Loco lifestyle on HHI. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Chris Odom will get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. Prime IV Hydration and Wellness now open in Belfair Town Village, where you can go get your saline drip with all your vitamins and minerals and get feeling better. Rooted Living Wellness, where many folks will help your body feel right, including my friend Dr. Ambrose Cole, the official chiropractor of LowcoSports. And Eagle Creations, best kept secret for promotional items and custom apparel, as well as custom gift baskets featuring proudly Southern fare. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland if you need to get a haircut or just have some great conversation with Jay and the team over there at Jay's Barbershop, downtown Ridgeland. Thanks so much to our Loco Booster Club sponsors, as well as our varsity and MVP sponsors. Thanks to Reese Stewart for stopping by to chat with us. And thanks most of all to you for listening or watching. For Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. It's been fun. Until next time, go Loco.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Loco.